Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Season 1, Episode 1, An Appropriate Amount of Rage. That is what it's called, right? I have, like, a normal amount of rage. The amount of rage is not something I'm aware of. I have mixed feelings going into this show, which is because I have not watched a single trailer for it. I have just seen some promo art and some general talk about it. Now, my initial thing was, it seemed a little bit more like a kind of comedy-type show, which I don't normally watch. But at the same time, I have also heard that apparently those whiny little man boys, have been like, oh, review bomb this show, it's so bad, which immediately makes me be like, well, I love this show. I'm gonna love this show. So I am really excited to jump into it, if you know what I mean. Like, basically kind of the way it was marketed didn't appeal to me. I was always going to watch it, I just had a lot on and needed to like take a breather and then get started on it, but I am now more excited than I was because of the idiots who hate it. And I normally disagree with them. Also, obviously, love. Oh my god, I'm going to say her name wrong. Tatiana Maslany. I'm so sorry. I used to know how to say that. She's phenomenal, so I am excited to see her as well. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. If I look a mess, even more so than normal, because I always look a mess, it is because I have just been sobbing my heart out to the penultimate episode of Ms. Marvel, but I'm excited for this one. Let's go. I don't entirely know what to expect. So the reason I wasn't overly looking forward to it like I happened to some of the other shows was because it was very much marketed as the little bit... We mainly did the She-Hulk Attorney at Law. It kind of sounded more like a sort of girl power rom-com, which I have nothing against them, they're just not my preferred thing to watch. We will see. There she is.
What is the responsibility?
Look, we got plenty of time to switch things up and let me do the closing.
Dennis, you aren't aware of this, but I will kill you and Jen won't prosecute. So I'm
Only because it's a
If it doesn't go our way, you can just Hulk out, blow everyone's mind.
Oh, well, the only hulking out I'm going to do is in the legal sense.
Jen.
It's true. I am a Hulk. And I'm guessing you're not going to be able to focus on this fun lawyer show until you know all about that. So let me get you.
Hello.
Obviously, Captain America was a virgin.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Also, does it matter if Cap was or not?
Inhibitor.
Oh.
Get away from me. I'm bleeding. Get away.
Oh. Did he know his... So it's his blood. Did he know that would happen? Because he was like, I'm bleeding, I'm bleeding. There are two of them now. God, she stays clothed. Slightly traumatic day.
But whoever did this to you does not care about you.
You do not need him. Or her. Or them.
But you do need shoes.
I love women.
Here, take these right here.
Can I borrow somebody's phone?
Oh, yeah, girl. Here you go, girl.
Women look after women.
Oh, come on, where you going? Let us keep you company.
We're just
Men do not love.
So what, you two gonna talk to us?
They deserved it. Not to be hit, but to be scared. Reality of what it's like to be alone. That's why women look out for each other. Bruce will feel extremely guilty about this.
He used to joke that it was alone and that one day he'd just swing by
Oh.
and take it back. You okay?
Wish he would.
Car and Class A courier craft. They're probably trying to deliver a message. I gotta get to the
Okay.
You know, weird stuff just kind of finds you when you're a Hulk.
So it wasn't an
We gotta
attack.
deal with you.
You're a Hulk now.
I changed.
Got a lethal dose of gamma radiation.
Lethal? As in I'm gonna die?
No, there's more to it that I'm going to explain.
That is not the sentence to take a pause on, Bruce.
Okay. Look.
It is not.
I have been analyzing your blood, and the way it synthesized gamma, I was able to use it to completely heal my arm.
Oh. Because I'm better than you?
Basically different.
In a better way.
Yep.
In conclusion, so now that I've actually
I love how big the lab is. Like,
Get me back to normal.
Jen,
this is normal now.
going away.
Can't stay away from people. How am I supposed to do my job?
You can't go back to your job.
Not right away, at least. Obviously, she does.
How to control your Hulk self. Top priority is to control when you turn.
She's doing okay so far with the stress.
The point was to prevent me from turning into...
Stand up!
What do you normally use this chamber for, you psycho?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh dear. Bruce, you've must expected things like this.
Why are you talking to me like I'm a stray horse?
Jen?
Yeah?
Wait, this is incredible. You don't have an alter ego.
And she's
You're
not
the only one in there?
quite as big.
I can tell.
You don't have another guy to wrestle with for 10 years.
Course is down to 5.
How dangerous this level of power is. You know the damage
Her
it
speech.
can cause? I mean, one
She will
snap,
give.
one freak out is literally just regular anger means death and destruction for everything and everyone around.
What if
I'm
she's
telling you,
sentient and able to
people start
control
seeing you
it?
as a monster that never goes away.
There's a lot of Bruce's trauma here. And the CGI is kind of interesting. Otherwise, I love this.
Spandex is your best friend.
Her clothes have all been fine so far.
Boulder, not a big
Bruce, it's okay. It's good that she's finding it easier than you. Obviously means there's something in her genetics.
So when do you think I can leave?
Let's just focus on each day as they come, Jen.
I mean,
She's doing quite well.
I do have a life to get back to my career that I have spent years building.
I mean, given how in control she is, I think she's capable of it.
And student loans for.
It's and regulate your emotions, especially your anger.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I
Mhm.
do it all the time. But when I'm catcalled in the street,
Yep.
incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me. I do it pretty much every day because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult.
She's not wrong.
Might just literally get murdered.
See.
No, I'm doing this.
Okay, this is completely new territory.
You guys have outgrown your binder, cuz. Love you.
Your situations are different, your genetics are similar and yet different, and it is true that women have a different type of anger that we live with every single day.
Bruce, but I'm going home. A government contractor squad and have my entire life taken away from me.
My life wasn't taken away.
Really? Oh, so you didn't wind up alone?
Ooh.
Hiding away on some remote beach with no friends, no relationships?
That's the price you have to pay for keeping the world safe.
It's not wrong that I am
Bruce.
choosing to help people in the...
Denying half of your being is no way to live. Trust me.
Goodbye!
I think she needs to find a medium, and potentially if there is a world-shattering event, she could probably help out with it and still have her day-to-day.
What do you think you're doing?
We don't really need to be punching each other.
I really didn't want to do this. Why?
Family.
Did you listen?
I think these are different people with different experiences. I think she should be a little bit more... I mean, she's been quite open to listening to him, to be fair. But... I think fighting each other is not helping. What is the purpose of this? Talking to each other is a much more useful way to solve things. At the bar that he built with Tony Stark, who is dead.
You're fixing it.
But they do need to have a proper discussion.
You know, I'm literally the only other person in the world that understands what you're going through.
Supportive is better.
Thank you.
Change your mind. Door never closes.
Thanks.
Definitely think she will need his help at some point.
Ball.
So now my family knows, and Nikki knows, and you know. Basically, I
Everyone is about to know, right?
And I never have to be a Hulk.
It depends on your definition of knowing.
Jesus Christ. Women know how to hold in their anger. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Jesus Christ.
In front of everybody? Yes, yes.
Yep.
Civic duty.
There she is.
Jennifer Walters, attorney at law.
Oh my god. What on earth is happening?
I'm ready to give my closing argument.
Of course she is.
America, fuck!
People are obsessed with that. I don't entirely get why. Okay, this episode was a lot of fun. It's definitely the kind of show that I would never ordinarily watch to a degree. But the second I do watch it, I'm like, why don't I watch this more? I really, really love Jennifer as a character. I'm excited to see where she goes with this. Obviously, I do prefer the slightly more serious take on superhero things than this, but it is a very nice change of pace, a very nice kind of slight break away from some of the things we've had traditionally in the MCU, especially with the MCU TV shows, and I really, really, really like her character. I'm intrigued with how the law part of the show is going to happen. Obviously, it's called Attorney at Law, so it's not like they're going to lose that part of it, which I am intrigued to see where it goes. And we haven't really seen the fallout from everybody finding out she's a Hulk. I definitely have seen... I knew going into this she was going to find it easier than Bruce. I didn't know anything really more than that, because I've seen people saying that there are these whiny people who are like, oh my god, it's so stupid that she finds it easier, and I think it's hilarious that they find that stupid. Because it has come... The reason Bruce... the way he was describing it, the reason the two of them, when exposed to this radiation, don't die, but instead become Hulks, is to do with a genetic thingamajig. And so why... It stands to reason she might have more of that genetic thingamajig. He could have more of it too, but like they're different, they're not the same. So I love that she has a different experience of being the Hulk, because no two people experience anything in life the exact same, even if the conditions are fairly similar. And it could even be the fact that she was exposed to kind of the radiation in his blood and everything when he's in this evolved state. There's so many things we don't understand. I love the idea that it is partly because as women we have to hold in a lot of that anger a lot of the time. I think it's definitely true. I think it's people from any group that faces any kind of constant harassment. I mean, clearly I think a female person of colour would just have been like, the second it happened, would have been like, I can fully control this. Because of the level of shit people have to put up with. But I love the statement it made, with not only the scene at the beginning with the men who just did not take no for an answer, they saw a woman alone and they were like, I'm gonna go approach her. I mean, every single woman I know has a story. Some of them minor, some of them major, you know. I am lucky with my stories that they are not huge and significant, but I was groped on a train by a man who followed me to a different train, and they continued to try and grope me in the middle of the day in Berlin, and only stopped when he noticed I was with people. And I was frightened and alone and like in a foreign country, didn't even tell my friends until he got off the train. He actually got off the train when I went and stood with them. I was sitting by myself because my feet hurt. Like, every woman has a story to a degree. There are far more worse things. There are far less things. And I just think shows like this highlighting it, and the fact that it still gets that angry response from men, I love it so much for having highlighted it. And just seeing how successful and competent she is, and she still has the guy in her office who's like, I think I should do the statement. It's her case. Does she do your case statements? Like, you need to take a breath, and so many women are used to that. Take a breath and smile, and just, you know, we're learning, we're getting better at standing our ground, at not being submissive, or not being, like, people-pleasing enough to be like, oh yeah, it's fine, you do it. But being like, no, I'm going to do it, but you have to do it with a reasonable suggestion, but no. So I loved that angle of it. I also loved learning more about the Hulk science. I have to admit, I have never seen a movie of the Hulk, partly because when I got into the MCU, it's a different person in the first Hulk film, and so I was like, is it even part of it? And by that point, I'd moved on so far that I was never going to go back. So I actually don't know anything particularly other than what's been referenced in popular culture and in other MCU projects about how the Hulk came to be. But I loved kind of getting a little glimpse into that, and a glimpse into the downtime of the Avengers, the downtime of the fact that Tony and Bruce did spend time together, that they were all friends, and that Bruce is still coping in his own way with a lot of things. I will say, Tony Stark had time to build Bruce a secret underground lab and bunker, but he couldn't even help make sure Sam was paid. Obviously, it's not entirely down to him. But no, this was a fun episode. I loved looking at the nature of a Hulk, at how her experience is different. It also highlights that even if two people go through the exact same event, we will process it and experience it differently. And I'm excited to see where this show goes next. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, not 2 weeks in advance, just today. It's there now. And thank you so much for watching.